Many people think that autistic people don't feel empathy. And I think that's really wrong because I think we do. And of course, everybody is different. This is a spectrum, so everybody can have a different combination of symptoms, right? So some people feel more empathy, some people feel less empathy. But at least in my case, I feel empathy really strongly. And especially when it comes to physical sensations. So for example, as you might know, I have synesthesia. So when I see things, I feel things. So for example, I know how things feel to touch without even touching them. And based on my experience, I just remember a lot. And so one of those kind of side effects is that I feel how people feel. So for example, I can give good massage because I know how the person feels when I do that. But here is the problem. That side effect has its own side effect, the backside of it, so to speak. It's that when I see somebody injured, I feel it in my body. If I see somebody cut themselves or hit themselves, I feel kind of, it's not pain, it's a very, very strong discomfort. And I think one of the reasons why I failed med school is because of that. I remember that time when we had a cadaver in front of us and we had to practice sewing it. And I remember it was so weird, this sensation of like puncturing somebody's skin with a needle. I mean, I know this person is dead, right? But it felt so weird. It's like I could feel as if I'm puncturing my own skin. And also when I went to, my father is a doctor, so once he took me to an operation, not a big operation, so, and the doctors were kind of cutting the man's arm, and not off, but just like they had to remove some, something from the arm. And I remember seeing that, how they cut it and how they sew it and stitch it. And I was like, oh my God, I could feel it in my body. And so my point is that I don't think we lack empathy. We can experience it deeply, but we often lack ways to express it. And so another example is one of my students, so I have two students, they are brothers, they had a baby brother, yes, born. And so that baby brother died. And, it's SIDS, so it's sudden infant death syndrome. And so this is not an unusual thing. It's not, something that doesn't happen. Like many famous people actually experienced it too. But of course, this is a tragedy for the family. And when I found out, so the father comes and he brings his son for the lesson and he says, oh, our baby died. And everything is in Japanese. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do in this kind of situation. And so the way I did it, I just showed it with my face, and I patted the father on the shoulder, like, oh, I feel your pain. And so in my case, my expression of empathy is usually non-verbal, because for me it's very hard to find words to express how I feel. But what I found helps me is basically trying to find kind of simple words, simple expressions that convey that you are touched by it. So you don't have to console anybody because you don't know how to do that, right? But just expressing how you feel is already good enough. And I personally said like, oh, this is so sad, and I feel so sad. That's okay, you don't have to be like, change all of your personality. Just say by words, say by touch, say by your expression. And to me, it works like that. It's not that hard for me to do.